You can set up your solutions to provide quite a lot of help to users while they're entering and editing data, and a number of the lessons in this chapter deal with different aspects of that. In an earlier lesson, we looked at setting up auto-entry options so that a field can acquire a default value when a new record is created. And I added the availability field here in the publications table, set to auto-enter available whenever a new record is created. That's useful because we can assume that a lot of the books entered will be available, so having a default value saves the user having to type something in on every record. That is, the user only has to visit the field to update it on records that require a different value, where the default isn't appropriate. But that's only the start. In cases where the values you'll want the user to enter into a field are predictable, there are other ways to provide help that will both speed and simplify data entry. One of those is to provide a set of values that the user can choose from. In FileMaker, that's called a value list, and you can create value lists easily and assign them to field controls in a variety of ways. Let me show you what I mean. Still using the example of the availability field, and bearing in mind that we would want the field to say either available or out of print, let's look at what it would take to set the field up so that the user doesn't have to type the value each time, even on records where they need to overwrite the default value. First of all, I'll visit the File menu and choose Manage Value Lists. Click on the New button at the lower left in the Manage Value Lists dialog. Now I can create a new value list, and first I'm prompted to give the value list a name. In this case, I'll call the value list Availability, the same as the name of the field I'm going to apply it to. And in this case, the pre-selected option of Use Custom Values is appropriate because I simply want to enter two predetermined values, Available and Out of Print. Now I'll click the OK button, and you can see the new value list is listed in the Manage Value Lists dialog. So I'll click OK to accept those settings, and now go to Layout mode to apply the value list to the Availability field. First of all, I'll select the Availability field, and now I'll choose to show the inspector from the View menu. And I'll visit the Data tab of the inspector. Now by default, the field control style is Edit Box, but in this case, I'd like to choose a different kind of field control, a radio button set. And when I choose the radio button set option, I get to select values from a value list. And in this case, the only value list I can choose is the availability value list that you just saw me create. When I choose that value list, you can see that on the layout, the field has now changed to show the two values with a selectable button next to each of the values. I'll change the height and position of the field a little to be more appropriate to its new appearance. And now let's go back to Browse mode and have a look at how this works. Now, adjacent to the field label Availability, you can see the field has Available and Out of Print buttons, and I can select one or other button to choose which value I want to be the active value on this record. And it's the same on every record. I can choose which publications are available or out of print simply by clicking on the relevant button in each of the records. The use of value lists as an aid to data entry is a technique that has quite a few different applications, and there are various field controls available, such as pop-up menus, drop-down lists, and checkboxes, in addition to the radio buttons that I used here. So there's something to suit just about every situation and requirement.